The neural interface hummed softly as Alexa adjusted the calibration settings. On her telepathic scanner, 3 years aboard the interstellar research vessel Constellation, and she still wasn't used to working alongside humans. They were so unpredictable, loud, chaotic in ways her species, the Zilteri, found deeply unsettling. But Knox was different. The human engineer had joined their crew 6 months ago, and he'd been nothing but professional. Quiet, even. He kept to himself, maintained the ship's systems with meticulous care, and never participated in the boisterous gatherings the other human crew members seemed to enjoy. Alexa appreciated that about him. He was almost Zilteri in his restraint. Systems check complete. Knox's voice crackled through her comm unit. Nearly finished, Alexa replied, her slender fingers dancing across the holographic display. The resonance chamber needs another 30 seconds to stabilize. Copy that. She glanced through the observation window of her lab. Knox stood in the corridor outside, his tall frame silhouetted against the blue emergency lighting. He'd been there for the past 2 hours, ever since she'd begun this particular experiment. The neural scanner she was testing was designed to map the electromagnetic signatures of various species' brain patterns purely for medical research purposes. Of course, the equipment beeped, signaling completion. Alexa began the shutdown sequence, but her hand slipped on the touch-sensitive panel. The scanner's beam, meant to be aimed at the test phantom in the corner, pivoted sharply toward the window, toward Knox, for exactly 2.3 seconds. The scanner's full telepathic array was focused directly on the human's mind. Alexa gasped, frozen in horror as information flooded her consciousness. The Zilteri were natural telepaths, but they'd learned centuries ago to keep their abilities muted, respecting the privacy of other species. This accidental deep scan was a massive violation of protocol. But what she felt in those seconds changed everything. The first thing that struck her was the pain. Knox's mind was a fortress of disciplined control, but beneath it roared a constant state of high alert. She felt his awareness of every person on the ship, every shadow, every sound. His heart rate, she realized with shock, was elevated not from stress, but from readiness. He was always ready. And then she saw the memories. Corridor B7, 3 weeks ago. A ceiling panel, corroded and unstable, beginning to give way directly above where Alexa would pass in 30 seconds. Knox calculating trajectories, moving within human speed to trigger a false maintenance alert that rerouted her path. The cargo bay, 2 months ago. A crate of reactive isotopes improperly secured by a careless technician. Radiation seeping through failing containment. Knox working through the night to repackage everything before Alexa's scheduled morning inventory. The observation deck, just last week. A microfracture in the viewport glass invisible to everyone else, but somehow detected by Knox's unnervingly sharp perception. He'd filed a repair request and then coincidentally invited the entire crew to a gathering in the opposite lounge, keeping them away until the maintenance crew sealed the breach. There were dozens of such moments. Hundreds, perhaps. A catalog of near disasters that never happened, dangers that never materialized. All because Knox had been watching, protecting. Not just her, Alexa realized as the skin continued. The entire crew. But the protective instinct that burned brightest in his mind was focused on her. She felt his reasoning, human and complicated. He'd noticed how the other crew members sometimes intimidated her with their volume, their casual disregard for personal space. He'd seen how she flinched at sudden sounds, how she avoided the more crowded areas of the ship. So he'd made himself a buffer. He'd positioned himself as the quiet one, the reliable one who was always somehow nearby when she needed something heavy lifted, or a system repaired in her lab. The scan ended, and Alexa stumbled backward, breaking the connection. Her hands trembled as she gripped the edge of her workstation. Knox hadn't just been professional. He'd been a guardian. And she'd never known. The door to her lab hissed open. "Alexa, your vitals spiked. Are you all right?" Knox stood in the doorway, concern etched on his angular human features. Up close, she noticed things she'd overlooked before: the shadows under his eyes from too little sleep, the calluses on his hands from extra maintenance work, the way his gaze automatically swept the room, checking for threats. She struggled to find words. How did she explain what she'd done? What she'd discovered? "You look pale." Well, paler than usual. He offered a small smile, attempting humor in that awkward human way. Do you need to sit down? Knox, I made a mistake with the scanner, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. It connected to your mind. I didn't mean to, but I saw. His expression shifted, going carefully neutral. The same control she'd felt in his thoughts. I see. Why? Alexa asked, stepping closer. Why have you been doing all of this? The constant vigilance, the protection, it must be exhausting. Knox was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft. My species has a saying, we protect what we value. You're brilliant, Alexa. Your research could revolutionize how we understand neural architecture across species. But more than that, you're kind. You try so hard to make everyone comfortable, even when you're the one who's uncomfortable. He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture she now recognized as self-consciousness. I guess I just wanted to make sure nothing prevented you from doing your work, from being yourself. The galaxy needs people like you. Alexa felt her bioluminescent markings, the ones that betrayed Zilteri emotions, begin to glow a soft amber, affection, gratitude. You've been carrying so much weight alone. It's what humans do, Knox said simply. We see something worth protecting, and we can't help ourselves. She reached out tentatively, touching his arm. Physical contact wasn't common among her people, but she'd learned humans found comfort in it. Then perhaps it's time someone protected you as well. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Knox's eyes widened slightly, and then a genuine smile, not the professional one he usually wore, spread across his face. I'd like that. From that day forward, the quiet human engineer and the Zilteri researcher became an unexpected team. Alexa learned to watch for the signs of Knox pushing himself too hard, insisting he rest while she took her turn monitoring the ship's systems. Knox learned to share his concerns instead of bearing them alone, trusting that Alexa's brilliant mind could help solve problems before they became catastrophes. And though the accidental mind reading had been a violation of protocol, neither of them could quite regret the truth. It had revealed that sometimes the most profound connections come from discovering that someone has been silently, selflessly caring all along. The constellation sailed on through the stars, carrying its crew safely forward, guided by the watchful eyes of two unlikely guardians who'd learned that protection is a gift best shared.